I can't really think of any. The only time I use send is just when I want to test it out to make sure it works. That's it. Sarah?
If it's just print out the name, it's been highlighted console log?
No, not really. There is a console log in here. That doesn't show up out here. Oops. That doesn't show up here, though. That shows up in here. It's kind of like how puts in Ruby. Yeah.
I think that's what
Yep. Console log is the same thing as puts.
yeah, that's just on the inside of the terminal.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, one thing that I just ran into, if you save and then refresh really quick, you're going to get that error. That's because you're caching the server in the middle of restarting. So just wait 1 second and then refresh the page and you'll be fine. Max?
Can you explain the point of the dot again?
Like when I had it up here. We don't have a need for it yet, so we'll do that later on. We'll be revisiting it. All right. Okay, so now we're going to make some CSS show up in here. I mentioned before that there are only like 3 lines of CSS in here, so that's all I'm going to write. I'm going to create a folder called public. And I'm going to put I'll make another folder called CSS. And I'll put a styles.css inside it. And then I'm just going to do this. That's all my CSS, is just text align center. Just enough to see that it's working. Okay, so now to actually use that, I'm going to add another thing onto here. I'm going to say app.use/public express.static public. First, I'm going to make sure this works, and then I'm going to talk about why it's working. Oh, I need to link to that in here. Link rel style sheet href public /css styles.css. Okay, if that worked, then this should be text aligned to the center, and it is. So I know my CSS is working. Just a more interesting example, I'll just give it a background color of red or something. Yep, it's working. Okay, so here's what I did. This app.use, this is saying look for any request being made to /public. So anytime anyone looks for anything with /public at the beginning of the path, like this, for instance, this public, then I want you to look for a folder called public and look in there for whatever it is they're looking for. So let me give you another example. If I change this to Wombat, and then I change this to Wombat, that should still work, and it does. And it's saying whenever anyone requests something at /wombat, look for a folder called public. And then whatever it is they're looking for, look inside that folder for it. So here I was looking for, I was looking for that. I was looking for wombat/css/styles.css. It's saying take that wombat and actually look inside public instead. So they're asking for wombat, but really we're going to go into public and we're going to look inside there. So they were looking for wombat/css/styles.css, but really it's going to load it from public/css/styles.css. So the first argument is in there is where they're trying to load it from. The second argument is where Express is actually going to get it. So if they're looking in Wombat, Express is actually going to get it from public. The first one is where they're looking. The second one is where it's actually getting it from. So if I change this folder name to FruitBat, what would I have? I just made a new folder. If I rename the public folder to FruitBat, what would I need to change on here for this to still work? How would I tell Express I want it to look for that CSS file in FruitBat now? What would I change?
Express static.
Yep, I would change this to FruitBat. And that should still work. And it does. So now it's saying whenever anyone looks for something at /wombat, actually get it from the fruitbat folder. This is probably one of the most confusing things in Express, honestly, is remembering how this thing works. Just remember, the first argument is where they're looking. The second argument is where it's actually coming from. And you have to use that express.static thing. Okay, and you'll get a chance to practice with that in a second. I'm not actually going to use wombat and fruitbat. Yeah, what's up, Matt?
So is that static method being performed on the Express?
Is this dot static thing? It's just like a built-in helper method in Express, sort of, that tells Express just to where to look for this file. It's only built right into Express. Sarah?
Is the public folder kind of like the same as it is
Mm-hmm.
like access?
Yes, but only if you do this thing. Only if you do this. If you don't have that express.static in there, then it's not going to work. And so we're already seeing the difference between static files and dynamic files. Anyone want to take a stab at what the difference is between those two? Matt?
Well, static, I know that pages that are public folders.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you put static pages that don't change. Dynamic pages are pages that are constantly being refreshed and updated and changed.
Yeah, so in here we have, what's the static file in here that we're looking at here? Yeah, and there are two dynamic pages, which is like the only other two files in here. But which ones are those? Yeah, so handlebars, those are dynamic pages. CSS, JavaScript, things that don't have code embedded in them, that are just served up exactly as they are, those are dynamic pages. Handlebars is dynamic. CSS is static. Sorry. Yes, what you said. You're absolutely right. Oh, just before I forget it, because Sarah called me out on it. In my code, I have all of this stuff indented over like that. That's just because I like having my equal signs vertically aligned because I'm stupid. It doesn't do anything. Not stupid. I'm neat. Yeah.
It matters where you do that though, right? I noticed that like in the JSON files, spaces, it doesn't like spaces.
Yeah, JSON-lint will grumble at you for a lot of things. But plain old JavaScript usually isn't too picky. Okay, so to get some front-end JavaScript going on in here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to create a folder called JS. I'm just going to put like app.js or something in here. And then to load it in here, I'm just going to do script source public. Oops, it should be public now. Public JS app.js. And then if all went well, when I refresh this page, I should see working in the console. You see this? Oh, yeah, that's because it's still at Wombat. There we go. And I see working. So loading front-end JavaScript, loading CSS, exact same process. They're both static files. And that's the next stop. So one thing that people always get hung up on is what's the difference between front-end JavaScript and back-end JavaScript? They really do completely different things. If I do something like document get element by ID in here, it's not going to work. Why is that? Matt? Cam, did you have something different?
I was going to also say, like, you have in the HTML page, you typically works because you link the script file to the page.
Well, yeah, that's true too. But Matt's closer to what I was looking for. Document get element by ID, that's something that is explicitly for HTML, and only front-end JavaScript knows how to do stuff with the DOM. Remember, the DOM is like documents and elements and blah, blah, blah. Only front-end JavaScript knows how to do anything with that. I mean, it's like if I tried to do, jQuery something.css in here, that's not going to work because I'm just in the backend right now. There is no CSS. It doesn't know how to read CSS. It can serve CSS, but it doesn't know what it is. It's just like, oh, all right, this is some other text. So front-end JavaScript and back-end JavaScript, they're all just JavaScript. Like they all have parentheses and semicolons and everything, but they do completely different things. It's like how you can use English to, you know, put a bill through Congress, or you can use it to like write a fart joke. And they do like completely different things, but it's all still English at the end of the day. So it's all still JavaScript, just doing different things. I'm going to stop there and let you guys catch up to this point. So to the end of added front-end JavaScript. And I'll give you another 6 minutes for that. I'll do 7.